This is not a typical Deltarune theory, or even really a theory, more like a delusion. What if I told you that I have found multiple parallels of Deltarune stuff around media not relating to Toby Fox at all, and how using these other stories might be the key to solving the cat, image friend, and the roaring knight, and even more about Gaster. Basically the essential Deltarune insanity stuff, which goes big, very big, so big, I'm probably releasing this days before the next chapter comes out. Also, sorry for my bad English. And if you don't know the deep Deltarune stuff, please do not expect me to explain at least the basics of it. This is far too big for that, and there's multiple videos from years ago explaining it. This does not mean we will not try to solve this using Deltarune itself though. But yes, this all surrounds that thing. Image friend, one of the most mysterious Toby Fox characters, up there with the WD man himself. A character who hasn't even interacted with anyone, but I assure you that they might have a more important role than you realize. So last year, when I began re-entering the Deltarune community again, after the announcement of chapters 3 and 4, and the memes on Twitter, I began seeing the yellow and pink eyes image friend has everywhere. On my house, on my furniture, on the streets, even on flowers. And this led me down a rabbit hole regarding this simple but haunting pattern. This rabbit hole insanity properly started 3 weeks before the release of chapters 3 and 4. As I was on social media, probably Reddit, and as I was scrolling, I saw this, a picture of the Cookie Cat Temple from Steven Universe Future, episode 11, In Dreams. And holy shit, there it was! Man, Steven Universe, a very good show who I've been a fan of for 7 years. Yes, since 2019. Shut up, I know I joined late.
So much a LARP, it's a crime.
At least we're getting Lords of the Stars now. Anyway, you have probably seen Steven Universe getting brought up in the Undertale and Deltarune community before. And no, not just because of the Steven is Sans theory. I'm talking about more recent posts talking about how the ice cream mascot, Cookie Cat, has an eerie resemblance to Image Friend. And they could not be more close to the truth. The simple cat silhouette it has, the color of their eyes, yellow on the left, pink on the right, it's definitely strange. It makes me feel strange, especially since ice cream is kept in cold spaces, like a fridge. And you know what else is cold? Well shit, everything related to the holiday family in Deltarune. The Roaring Knight appears in a snowy field called Cold Place, Christmas, the whole gimmick of the holidays, the Snowgrave spell in the Weird Root, the Forbidden Path begin with ice magic, come on. Not to mention how the holidays are Christmas themed to obviously connect more smoothly at the religious themes Toby is trying to express through his story. That's why the antlers are cross-shaped. It has nothing to do with transsexuality. But you know, maybe there's something there, who knows? The whole Deltarune prophecy and chapter 4 are enough evidence for obvious correlation to religious theming, but whatever. I'm mainly talking about religious themes right now cause Chris and Kathy tried to summon a demon as kids. And I think that line, and other mentions of Chris knowing how to summon demons is important, especially cause it was Chris and Caddy. Caddy, the emo cat, who also knows Noelle, who has helped Caddy with the cover of her mixtape. And fuck, don't get me even started with the cat petter shit. Which, what you need to get out of is that Friend is heavily connected to Noelle and the holidays. Can we go back about talking about Steven Universe Future, please? I would like to do an in-depth analysis of all the Deltarune bull I was able to find in the same episode where this temple cat friend-looking thing appears. Funny thing is, this thing appears in the intro, where we see inside of Steven's dream. Here's the clip.
Hey, guys, what's the deal? Let me in!
Steven, no one needs your help. So why are you still here?
What?
Interesting line, huh? Especially since it connects directly to Steven's recent experiences, feeling he's missing out on freedom because his unhealthy urge of being the hero and helping everyone is stopping him from it. But the Cookie Cat statue serves as an antagonistic role here, stating that Steven's existence is useless when he runs out of people to help, which is a lie. This is the only time Cookie Cat has spoken in the entire Steven Universe saga as of now, by the way. Anyway, you can definitely see why someone would freak out a little because of this, but believe me that I wouldn't be talking about it if that was it. Before we get into the crazy details, this episode is about Peridot and Steven wanting to change the reboot of Camp Pining Hearts by generating the footage off of Steven's dreams. But unfortunately, some past trauma creeps into the episodes. Also, yeah, Steven can project his dreams into the TV. Okay, let's begin. Yellow and pink pens, yellow and pink tape cover, yellow and pink sticky notes, the iconic Cookie Cat alarm clock, and Cookie Cat imagery everywhere throughout the whole miniseries in general, not gonna lie, a big box, or better said, a tape cover of what I learned was one of the Lonely Blade entries seen in episode 16 of season 1, Steven the Sword Fighter. I bring this up because these fictional movies, who we only know the plot of 2, the 4th and 5th entry, are about a samurai, Lonely Blade, yes, that is his name, going on a trip to take revenge on the one who took the life of his brother. At least that's what the 4th one is about. The 5th one is about Lonely reuniting with his brother, who is a zombie now. But Lonely thinks or realizes that the undead man in front of him may not be his brother. Yeah, a lot of death vibes here. This will be understood better when we go deeper into the rabbit hole. Anyway, when Peridot provides Steven with a whole storyboard to help him with not messing up the dream this time, she adds a twist where Steven's self-insert character kisses Jasmine, the fictional character, as Rodrigo watches in betrayal, saying,
Thus stoking the fire of Rodrigo's jealousy!
Where have I heard that before? Oh yeah, there. Fun fact, I almost fainted the first time I heard Peridot say that. Oh, and how could I forget a picture of Connie with a white dove, which in Christianity is specifically in Matthew 10:16, Jesus compares doves to innocents. And if there's one character in Deltarune who has the label of innocent, it's our favorite white girl, Noelle. Yes, I am saying that Connie Machuran is a parallel to Noelle Holiday. Why? Well, tell me another character in the show who also has had a key traumatic experience related to love, no matter which meaning of the word we are talking about it, with the main character over a ring. Well, it's a bracelet, but you get it, it's very similar. I mean, come on. Both have marriage allegories that also relate to merging with the toxic partner, you know, the same way we merged the soul with Noelle in chapter 4, Weird Root, and Steven wants to fuse with Connie to become Stebani forever. Also, right at the beginning of the next episode, we see a dogcopter film which parallels what happened previously. The thing is that this is the 6th! Anyway, back to religious imagery. Alright, the massive ass Steven as an angel portrait that establishes the concept of everyone else seeing Steven as a perfect saint with no flaws that is only there to help. Notice how I said angel, like the angel from the prophecy, Us? Yes, I obviously believe that the Red Soul is the angel in the Deltarune prophecy, but whatever. And this is more proof anyway, especially since it isn't future Steven, but the OG, and the only entity in Deltarune that has enough relation to the past, Undertale, to represent OG Steven in this scenario would be us, the Red Soul. Or the other candidate. No, I'm not him. MatPat has said enough already. Okay, last thing from future. In Steven's dreams about Camp Pining Hearts, we see a guitar tilted the same damn way as this guitar. Moving on to the OG show, I've noticed a different pattern. It's probably unintentional because there's too many evidence from the other topics I'll talk about in this overcomplicated delusion, and I'm lazy as fuck. But since I'm in a hurry, and stuff, since chapter 5 is coming fucking tomorrow, I searched Steven Universe episodes related to snow, and I found stuff. Episode 42, Season 1, Winter Forecast. Steven is hanging out with Connie, but she has to go home. Garnet then kisses him in the forehead, granting him future vision, but staying in a loop until he chooses the right option. And for fuck's sake, zoom in. Are those fucking cats on her dress? Why the fuck does she have that? Do you understand? Do you get? In one of the loops, Steven decides to bring Connie back to the temple, not knowing the gems were casting away a crystal that, when put in contact with the ground, would explode. A literal bomb level explosion. A bomb! In this episode! Who is just added here with the other far more evident Deltarune correlations. A bomb. Like the fucking end time video, huh? The fucking Russian green gaster bullshit. Well, listen. The guy brings up some crap about the IB mic, and unfortunately, he may be right. But just about the bomb, I don't know who wants to blow up what, but there's a bomb somewhere. The explosive crystal is called the Shooting Star, and this is the last appearance it has on screen in the entire franchise. First appearing in Monster Buddies episode, which starts in a fucking mountain! Like Undertale! Shot in the same way too! Fighting a fucking ice master fucking— Anyway, yeah, Connie. We need to talk about Connie and Noelle, and her entire family, because what— So, why is almost the entire Meishwaran family just the Holiday family? Carol is Priyanka. They look eerily similar, and they are very overprotective and strict over their daughters and almost have the same dynamic. Not to mention that they both seem to have a clueless tie to the supernatural aspects of the universe they're in, which also tie heavily to the main protagonist. And also, these dudes are definitely the amalgamates. She also has a whole arc in that episode about how controlling she is of her daughter. The thing is that since the Meishwaran family didn't have a death situation, Priyanka was not consumed by the grief of loss, unlike Carol. This is why she isn't as evil or in a conspiracy like Carol. But seriously, very similar characters. And I'm mentioning her first because when it comes to Connie's father, Doug, who is also the last third member of the Meishwaran family we know about, he really doesn't have that much similarities to Rudy compared with Carol and Priyanka. And I don't only say that because he's not sick, but because he doesn't match the role he has narratively. But when it comes to personality, once again, he's similar to Rudy. He, like Rudy, is a very protective dad that has a goofy prankster spot for his daughter. He even shares the little beard on the chin. Only thing he's missing is the mustache. But like, come on, look at the screen and tell me this isn't coincidental. Okay, that's enough of the dear girl. Let's return to more coincidences. So I've researched a bit more and backtracked a little too, and holy moly, it really has been in front of our faces all along. The Big Donut. On episode 21 of season 1, Joking Victim, Steven takes Lars' place at the Big Donut to help Sadie with work, while Lars skips work by awfully pretending to have a spine injury. While Sadie is showcasing Steven the employee's room, she explains to Steven how a corporate bake station sends the donuts already made and ready to serve. Steven asks, "You mean you don't make them here?" And Sadie answers with,
No, not since the accident.
This scene was so insane to me. Two small little wet floor signs guarding what it seems to be a big ass stain of black liquid substance covering a whole section of the wall, with the missing parts of the center making a silhouette of a person who seems to have crashed into the wall. I mean, if we get dark, we could suggest this person slipped and crashed into the wall and the stain is blood, but no. That stain is too wide and big for it to come from a human being. Fire, maybe? It's obviously liquid, no. So it's unknown. And this has not been answered. Ever. This was just a spooky little detail that was never mentioned again. But does this remind you of something? An accident being mentioned one time in the whole saga, and showing that a person got affected and involved, and then acting like the victim didn't ever exist. Yeah, this guy is our Gaster. And you're probably wondering, do we even know who this unknown person is? Well, we're after this scene. Sadie shows Steven the Do or Do Not cassette tape, a music video of a younger Mr. Smiley just fooling around. But you see, who is recording this? The place seems empty except the cameraman and Smiley, and we see the cameraman's hand in this shot. Sadie does not have those hands, and they're too white for them to be Lars. Also, we know later in the franchise that the Big Donut is a store that is manageable with only one employee. So dare I say that the cameraman recording the tape is the same guy who got involved in the accident? I mean, come on. It makes logical sense. Tell me another time we have heard of a previous employee before Sadie and Lars. Never! This is definitely our Gaster. And do you think I'm done? No. Sadie gives a lot of Elvis vibes. From her voice, her personality, I guess her height? The fact she's a replacement of our Gaster candidate. Just wanted to, say a little honorable mention before we get to the big guns. Anyway, Gaster is heavily associated with a weird sound commonly emitted to signal a correlation to him, or darkness. The sound is called mus_smile, and with the power of the Undertale and Deltarune theorists, people have dissected the sound and realized that it was just Muffet's laugh, slowed down by a ton. The spider girl. And since the moment I realized this, I've been focused on spiders being a reference too. But I missed a key part of Muffet's character that's way more important. Her baking. She bakes croissants, sweets, and donuts. Let me try that again. Donuts. Actually, you can find this green cat NPC outside of her stand, holding a donut and claiming that Muffet seduced and deceived him into buying it. And that he has no money now. This guy is also a Gaster follower / goner, by the way. And most importantly, the Forgotten Man says that he goes to sell the donuts on Thursday. Wait. Donuts. Holy shit. And pink and yellow. I just realized something. It's big. We gotta go back. We gotta go way back to 2011. Well, actually, a few years prior. You see, Tyler Okoma, better known as Tyler the Creator, whose albums we'll talk about in a second, formed the group Odd Future back in 2007, with its official logo being the letters OF as donuts. With not only pink and yellow being the main colors on it, but with also blue sprinkles. Blue will be important later on in this series of videos. Now, why in the actual fuck am I bringing Tyler the Creator into this? Aside from that one time where Stell appeared in Flower Boy. It's because of Tyler's first 3 debuted albums, Bastard, Goblin, and Wolf, commonly known as his darkest albums, but also his most lore-filled albums. You see, these 3 albums are connected with each other. They're all part of a grand story. A story which is completed on the second album, Goblin. Look, there's a whole video about the story these 3 albums make together by Tennis Tom, which to my knowledge is also the person who gave the storyline the name of the Wolf Trilogy. So go watch that video if you have any questions about what's really going on here in detail. Yeah, really, go. Here's the title, everything. You can just search it up and watch the video. Go ahead. Okay, you're back? Cool. And even if it's the video, which I mostly believe when it comes to the storyline presented in these 3 albums and the interpretation I will be discussing, there are a lot of other interpretations people can take from this narrative. This is because it's hard sometimes to differentiate what's supposed to be important on the ongoing story and what's just a little fun fact Tyler added to the song because he could. These little cheeky moments sometimes also disconcentrate me from figuring out if the song is trying to say anything, but I've gotten used to it. Anyway, let me stop jabbing, so you all know how it goes, right? Y'all seen the video. First is Bastard, then is Wolf, and then it's Goblin. The whole story. And Sam is dead as the finale. Yep, that's what I believe. Tyler kills Sam as the final hunt down before moving on from the Edgelord stuff into Cherry Bomb. So listen, we gotta talk about the main villain of the story. Not Ace, not Wolf, obviously, and not even Sam. It's kind of Dr. TC. Troncat. It's Troncat. This almost otherworldly voice in Tyler's head who has been secretly the main fuel of the crimes he committed in Bastard and in Goblin as Ace. Troncat is the most vile and insane version of Tyler. The version of himself that truly and utterly encapsulates the thirst for attention Tyler in the storyline has. Attention that wasn't given to him as a kid by his father. By the way, I mean the Tyler in the story, in the narrative, in the fictional narrative, not the actual real life one. I don't want no disrespect, really. So we can come to the conclusion that Troncat is an amalgamation of negativity and depravity forming itself as an influential, intrusive thought, because of the absence of Tyler's father in his life. So, a cat entity made of the darkest darkness inside of oneself, which matters in a psychological sense since dark worlds do depend on the psyche and the memories the fountain maker has, who is haunting not only the narrative but the main character while also being related to the disappearance of one of the main character's loved one. Well, Tyler's father was not a loved one. That MF was roasted to death every time he was brought up in these albums. There's a difference here. Chris lost a beloved friend and blamed themselves for it, and Tyler barely got to meet the person who was meant to raise him throughout his entire life. Also, the first 4 notes of Answer match with the first 4 notes of Lost Girl. Just saying. Truncat has a canon appearance, a PNG of the head of a real cat with pure white eyes with rainbow-colored outlines and an upside-down cross on his forehead. And that brings me to the next thing. The Wolf Trilogy has a lot of rebellious anti-religious imagery. This also has to do with the attention stuff and the urge Tyler has in the fictional narrative to be edgy, searching for the validation his father never gave him. From what I know, Tyler put these type of lyrics and symbols in the story barely for narrative purposes, and more because he found it funny and helped him at the time to search the audience he wanted. But there's also a couple of times where religious themes seem to hit him in a more personal way. For example, yes, I know Hot G Beats said the last one, but damn. I mentioned this because, as I said before, Deltarune is filled with religious parallels. So like most know, it's mentioned various times that Chris learned occult with Caddy and tried to summon a demon. Ace and Bastard says, demons running inside my head telling me evil thoughts. And that foreshadows Truncat. Chris and Caddy summoned a demon. The pink and yellow colored Cat Lightner are the ones who tried summoning a demon. It was Friend. They summoned Friend. The thing is that both Friend and Truncat get compared to demons and are always on their humble service, as Friend says, to the main character. And since Truncat is the main foe of the story, maybe Friend is too. Created by negativity, or another way to say it, darkness. So Friend is Truncat and Chris is Tyler. Cool! What else? Well, since you beautiful viewers held my advice to heart and watched the Tyler lore video I put on screen earlier, you'll realize that Dr. TC, Tyler's therapist, is revealed in the last song of Goblin, Golden, to be Tyler's consciousness. Chris also has a therapist. Or better said, had one. The Forgotten Man. It's implied Chris had artistic therapy sessions with the Forgotten Man at Hometown's Hospital in Chapter 4's Egg Room. Tyler says on the same song, Golden, that the nerd was amazed at the hurt that he was painting while referring to himself. Dr. TC seems to be a being created subconsciously in Tyler's head that has the purpose of reassuring Tyler, telling him everything is okay and that it isn't his fault, taking the positive out of everything and always agreeing and being there for him, even if he's initially weirded out at Tyler's crimes at first. For example, in Bastard, we see him talk in a very casual way with Tyler after being told he, commits very bad crimes with women. Even after Sarah, he has the goal to say,
You're a good kid, just misguided.
But I mean, it's not like we don't know why he says this. Like he says in Golden, he knows that all of this is imaginary. He understands that Tyler is just an edgy teenager dealing with trauma and with concerning thoughts and fictional scenarios. But Tyler, he handles the situations in his imaginary world like they're the real deal. But from Tyler's perspective, especially in Goblin, it really just seems like Dr. TC is trying to make Tyler not hold any accountability from his own actions, thus making him the main antagonist of this album, since he's everyone, including Truncat. We see this in full clarity on Golden. He just desperately keeps trying to somehow claim that Tyler killing his own friends 2 songs prior was a reasonable and normal thing to do. He also says that Tyler only needs him a lot of times, even on the first song of the album. A major theme on these 3 albums is after the concept of nobody giving a fuck about Tyler, the theme of nobody actually caring about him as a person, only his work and fame. Dr. TC claims he did give a fuck about Tyler this whole time, claiming that he is his best friend, officially stating that Truncat is Tyler's best friend. But the thing is, I think the true intentions of Dr. TC were more pure-hearted, not to trick Tyler into going further in his madness, but to free him from it. I think Dr. TC has been trying to make Tyler see the truth this whole time. Evidence of this being the case can be seen in the next chronological song, Sam is Dead, from the Odd Future taped Volume 2. That even after Tyler kills Sam, the being that reminded him constantly of how toxic and angry he was his ace and the roots or life source of truncated Dr. TC still says as he's dying,
Just let him play.
not only acknowledging and accepting the control Tyler has over his own head, but rooting for him to live his fictional scenario in his head as a way to properly move on from holding on to his dad's absence and finally focusing on the future he can make with what he has now. So, the Forgotten Man. A man Chris encounters in every dark world, handing Chris an egg. Each egg can be put in a specific part of hometown in every chapter, except chapters 3 and 4. In chapter 1, it's in Asgore's fridge, which has already an egg in it, making it 2 eggs inside his fridge. Anyway, in chapter 2, you can add the egg to Sans egg basket in his store, but if you interact with Tammy in the classroom before going to Sans's store, she suddenly changes her speech mannerisms in her last sentence and randomly places her egg from chapter 1 in her desk. If you interact with it, it says, the eggs you have collected so far. There's 2. And based on my research, this is referring to the eggs we collected in chapter 1 and 2, not counting the egg Tammy placed on the table. But who knows, maybe she sneaked into Asgore's flower shop and she stole the egg. But there's no way, right? It's not like the exact number of eggs we collected plus 1 more from Tammy appear in Bartley's table in chapter 4. Okay, so Bartley is James Dokes from Dexter. Anyway, moving on from the obvious Bartley is onto us implication, the Forgotten Man also seems to be a neutral, leaning to good-natured figure. And like the theorist Skeletal Error said, the Forgotten Man is actively doing a man-in-the-middle attack, getting in between the story and Chris to help them get the eggs, for some reason. It seems like the Forgotten Man also appears in Hometown too, inside QC's diner, waving at Chris and tapping a takeout box. And also inside one of the cars in traffic in chapter 2, once again, happily waving at Chris. I believe this might be our Dr. TC, helping Chris remember the repressed memories, same memories hidden behind the tree. You see, just like Dr. TC, the man is a manifestation of a coping mechanism. Chris repressed what happened on the day Des disappeared behind the tree, as we see them do in real time in chapter 4. I believe friend is what they are trying to repress, the monster that took Des away, but also the way Chris was responsible in one way or another of what happened. But the man also represents Chris's therapist, also known as the Second Gaster. A kind man, someone who is just trying to make Chris confront the truth. Yes, my dear viewers, a mixture, a fusion between the Gaster of Deltarune and Friend. Because if you really think about it, Dr. TC seems like a fusion too, no? Tyler's father fused with Tyler, aka Troncat, urge for attention. Dr. TC seems like what Tyler would have wanted his father to be like. Someone who is actively trying to help him no matter what. But of course, it is impossible for Dr. TC not to show signs of just being Tyler trying to help himself. And just like Chris, Tyler always knew what was going on. It's just that they had to remind themselves what was really happening through one way or another. Also, the gender of the Forgotten Man doesn't matter. Chris is still non-binary, even if it's revealed that the Forgotten Man was indeed created by them. Oh, and Gaster deems the Forgotten Man as an issue. I don't know why. Maybe this is to say, oh, he's the bad guy, but he's a good guy in the end, or maybe it's a twist villain? Ugh, I'm not sure. Alright, is that everything? Oh, right, for fuck's sake, I remember. Remember in Dreams, the Steven Universe Future episode I said earlier, and the Campaigning Hearts reboot? Well, tell me another story of a summer camp with a self-insert who is trying to steal the girlfriend of the self-insert's foil character and has a relevant water ecosystem in it. Okay, Steven Universe may not have the lake, but Deltarune does have it, and believe me, it's important. Also in Analog, it says something about the bottom of the lake, and I think Dessa's corpse is drowned in there, but who knows. Anyway, but seriously, it was so baffling to me, the absurd amounts of eerily similarities the Wolf trilogy, specifically Wolf, and the Campaigning Hearts reboot have with each other. So Stefan is obviously our Wolf Haley, an alter ego of Steven, a self-insert, a character in which the main character transfers all the positive traits of themselves they wish they had. This applies to Tyler and to Steven. Peridot claims Rodrigo and Jasmine have no chemistry. Samuel and Salem's relationship is also very non-chemical, which is why Salem chooses Wolf, because Sam isn't really a mentally well guy in the head. So Rodrigo is Sam and Jasmine is Salem, and that's even more insane, because the voice actor of the Cookie Cat Nightmare Temple is Johnny Hawks. And who is Johnny Hawks? Well, the same voice actor of fucking Rodrigo! A foil character, like Steven says, is a character which contrasts with another character close enough to be able to see the differences. And Samuel and Wolf are foils, but also mirrors at the same time. Also, in what we see of the plot in the dream sequences, Stefan creates the conflict he later convinces Rodrigo to go solve with him, making Stefan the good guy and the bad guy at the same time, even though Steven's intentions at first were to bring Rodrigo and Jasmine together, but later that was changed to make Stefan betray Rodrigo instead. Reminds me of the Susie and Noel thing, not gonna lie. Yeah, you know, I really think this might really have to do with Susie and Noel's relationship and how it would be our choice to make it bloom or crumble to the ground. Normal route or weird route. Anyway, yeah, one last thing for real this time. Stefan wears a green and blue shirt, just like Wolf's blue hat and green brim. Blue and green. And how interesting is the fact that blue and green are the exact opposite colors of pink and yellow. Okay, enough. This is going for too long now. That's it, okay? There you have it. My first episode of my first proper insane Deltarune theory, which is not really a theory. I understand that this is completely delusional and out of anybody's mind to even comprehend. And yeah, I get it. Also, sorry for the background noise. There is fireworks happening right now. I just wanted to say that I know that all of this is not intentional in the slightest. As I said before, it's a delusion, not a theory. This is a hunt. This is a scavenger hunt to see how many coincidences we can find that somehow maybe can solve the story of Deltarune. And I have hope. And I have hope that what I found in the last year of researching and going deeper and deeper and deeper than deep has led me into. So yeah, that's it. Goodness. Fucking hell. Those are fireworks, I promise. So yeah, goodbye. Hit the like if you want. Hit the subscribe button if you want, or if you thought this video was worth it. And the Roaring Knight is Dessa's body without a soul, possessed by friend and controlled by image friend. Good night. Deltarune tomorrow.